right, we're back for our second virtual class. We didn't scare Mira away too much after the first one. So she's back for more, eyelashes intact and everything. And we're just going to continue on with what we were doing the last time, which was attacks from the back position. Again, if you're watching this and you're new to jiu-jitsu, maybe you're just stuck inside and you're trying something out that's new to pass the time, the back position is the most controlling and the best offensive position in jiu-jitsu. And so in a match, one of the first objectives is to get to dominant and controlling positions such as this one. And that's going to be an area where you've got everything in your favor, basically. It's going to be pretty tough for your opponent to try to do any moves, any submission holds on you. And then you're going to have a high probability, or at least a good opportunity of getting higher percentage submission holds and attacks on them. So that's typically where we want to be, and that's going to be universal regardless of if we're talking about sport jiu-jitsu, if we're talking about jiu-jitsu as it's applied into MMA, or even jiu-jitsu as it's applied into a self-defense situation. This is definitely where we want to be. So let's take a quick review at the position itself. So if Mira is on her butt, kind of facing the camera here. Yep, right there's good. Okay. So in general, make sure that I have my hooks in, or I have some sort of control over her hips and legs. If I don't have that, and I'm only trying to control her upper body, or I'm only trying to go for the choke, she could kind of easily hop her butt over my leg. Go ahead and do that, Mira. Hop her butt over my leg, and she's going to turn and get out, really pretty quickly. So again, we're operating under the impression that the audience watching this right now are people with very little to no training at all, and so I don't want to take anything for granted. I don't want to take any assumptions here. All right? So one more time, Mira's here. And so in the last class, we worked on a few choke attacks from the back, and that really is what we have as our plan A. The choke is going to be the best thing, because there's nobody that's going to be too flexible or too tough or whatever for a choke. There's people that are, very flexible, or maybe double jointed, or just have they don't really care if their bones get broken or ligaments get torn or whatever, and they won't tap out to some of our arm locks and our leg locks. We should, of course, still know them and learn them for sure, but the choke is the best. Right? So as a reminder, I would start with my seat belt control. So I'm over one side and I'm under the other, right? Just like a seat belt in the car. And then whenever I'm ready, my overarm comes under the neck, right on the chin, making sure to not get your wife's eyelashes in the process. Okay? And then for the regular rear naked choke, I would slide through like here, and I would squeeze for the tap. We also worked on our short choke and even a one-handed version of our rear naked choke. Okay? So those are ultimately what we're going to be going for. Okay? Now, we also had a little bit of a conversation last time about that even though the technique is generally demonstrated with us sitting upright like this so that you can see it more easily, it's pretty unrealistic that we're going to just stay here, right? Mira and I are not going to be having a match, and we're just going to stay here for any appreciable amount of time. We're going to be on the ground one way or another. And if I have my choice, I would prefer to put my head on the bottom. That's personally where I would like to be. So I've got my seatbelt control, and if we're going to go to the side, I like to maintain a diagonal control of my opponent. So I'm going to put, if I want my head to the bottom, so over on this side, I'm going to kind of cheat my feet up to right there. Okay? And now this has a great thing where my leg is fairly free to move. And one of the things we talked about last time is I can use my free leg to get her hand out of the way so she can't defend the choke, and then I apply it and I get the tap out. So that's a question we get a lot, not only from people who are new to training, but even people that take our classes on a regular basis here, is once I've got the back, do you have a preference on what side you go to? And you can get the chokes, and you can get stuff from both sides, and so it's not like all is lost if you go to one side versus the other. But I do prefer to go to the side where my head is on the bottom. And it gives me, and I choose that for two reasons. One, I personally have an easier time getting her arm out of the picture, just like we just showed there. So I get her arm, I get that out of the way, and now it's my two hands against just her one hand, right? She might try to get her hand involved, go and try to defend the choke, right? But then I can ultimately try to beat her to that and get my choke that way. So reason number one is that I find it easier to use my legs to go for the choke. And then reason two is if she's doing a really good job of defending the choke and I can't get it, I do want to move to other options for my submission attacks. And by being on this side, it gives me the easiest transition to my favorite submission combination from here that doesn't have the choke, right? So I'm going to still go for the choke, but I'm going to have another one as well. So we're going to go ahead and look at that too. So if I'm in my seat belt, I'm going to fall over to the side here. Let's actually scoot a little this way, just so we have it centered on the camera a little bit more. Okay. So we're here, and we fall to the side. Now look, I put both of my feet by her top hip. So this is going to be pretty important right here. Okay. And so if Mira and I are actually having a match, she's of course going to be using her hands to try to fight the choke off. She's going to be trying to pull my hands away. So that's what this is going to be kind of based off of. So I'm going to go ahead and control her bottom arm with my top arm. Okay? Because we're both on our right sides, that means I'm going to control her right arm with my left hand. And then I can go ahead and double up into like a Kimura grip or a figure four grip right here. Okay? Once I have the grip, ideally, I'm going to go ahead and keep this grip. Okay, there's other ways to do it, but ideally, I'm going to keep this grip, and I'm going to let her head escape from this. So she's going to think, "Oh, awesome! I'm getting out of the choke." But this is how I'm going to go to my next combination. Okay, so I'm going to use my forearm to make it hard for her to turn and look at me. If she were to try to turn her face toward me, she should find a little bit of resistance with that, or at least trying to put her weight on top of me. And now I'm going to take advantage of this leg not having any weight on it. So I'm just going to open it up so that it's out of the way. And then I'm going to kind of use my arms to drop her onto her back. I'm going to go ahead and come back to my armbar right there. Okay, let's show that one more time. And again, make sure that you tap out once it starts to hurt. So we're here, and realistically, Mira's already going to be defending with her hands. She's going to be trying to fight off. Yep, go ahead and do whatever she would try to do there. So I'm going to go ahead and already fall to this side. And I'm trying to get the choke, but she's not letting me. So I'm going to be trying to control her hand until I can make this grip that I want. Okay? So I've got that. And then if I can get my arm around her head, keeping the grip, I try to. But sometimes I just hold a one-on-one, and then I just switch it from this side. That'll work as well. So I drop her down this way. She tapped out pretty early on that one. Better safe than sorry. What's that? Shoulder hits. So that's going to be one of my favorite combos. Let's look at the other side just to get a little bit different angle and to give Mira's arm a break. We'll do one more over here. Okay. So again, I want my head to be on the bottom. So now I'm going to have my head on this side. So again, she might be fighting with her hands, trying to pull the choke away, all of this sort of thing. Okay. So if I could get the choke, I would. But if the choke's not there, that's not a problem. So in this case, I'm going to just slide under and get her arm from there, push her away a little bit. I'm going to drop her down to this position. Okay? Now, I like to just keep this same figure four grip all the way back into my arm bar. I'm going to make sure she has a hand for me to tap with. And then she can tap. Okay? So let's have Mira do that a couple times on me so that you guys can see. And then after she goes, we'll talk about a couple details that I like and I think are important to finishing the arm bars. Okay? So Mira's going to go ahead and she's going to have that control on me. And we'll angle just a little bit this way. Okay? So put your on that side. A little bit this way. Okay, so Mira's head is on the left, so she's going to want to go, she's going to want to come to where her head's on the bottom over here, okay? And so she's not able to get this, the chokes I'm defending or whatever, okay? But she's grabbing the wrist. This is excellent. And then she's going to go ahead and take this arm and come onto this side of my head, so she can like push my head away. And as she does that, this leg comes over around the back of my head and over my face and knocks me down, just like that. And then she gets my arm, and then I tap out. And she lets go. Let's do one more time. All right, so she's here. All right, she's trying to choke me, and I'm like, no, I'm defending the choke. My hands are in here. Okay, so she gets the wrist control. Okay. Good. So keep this one underneath. And there you go. That's better. Okay. So you see how she's got her own wrist right there. And then she's able to keep my head away from her, which is exactly what she wants. This leg comes over, knocks me down. Good. Excellent. All right. So that's the basics of how we get into the armbar. This might be dangerous for me to teach my wife so many submissions. I better be on my best behavior at home. And what I want to leave class with is talking about what I learned when I was a white belt. Actually, my coach would always call it the 5 principles of a good armbar, of a perfect armbar. So let's talk about that. So I'm going to have Mira just lay on your back, feet toward the camera. Perfect. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start in armbar position here. So 5 principles of a good armbar. Number 1 is hip penetration. I need to understand that I'm trying to submit her elbow, and so I need my hips to be scooped far under her elbow, ideally pretty close into the shoulder here. If my hips are too far away and Mira can get her elbow to the floor or sort of just generally on that side of my hips, I don't have a good chance. I have no chance basically to get this armbar. Okay? So I need to, number 1, have hip penetration. Number 2, once I get my hips in, I'm going to reinforce the hip penetration by pulling my heels to my butt. So I'm trying to like squeeze Mira's body like I'm doing a hamstring curl. So she should feel fairly squished here with my hamstring squeeze. Okay? And then number 3 is I want to try to isolate the arm as best as I can by pinching my knees together. So I'm pulling my heels to my butt as well as pinching my knees together. And she should feel like, even without my hands holding her arm, that her arm is fairly stuck and fairly pinched when I do that. Okay? And then number 4 is understanding the angle that the arm is most vulnerable. Okay? A good armbar is going to have her pinky pointed toward my chest and her thumb pointed up to the roof. That's where it's going to be the most vulnerable. So that's the best for me, and that's ideally what I want. If she rotates her hand this way, palm up, I can still get it. Okay, it's not quite as tight, but I can still get it. If she rotates her hands either of the other way, so thumb toward me, I have basically no chance of getting it. Or if we go this way and go palm down, it's also going to be very difficult for me to get it. So I really want to try to get this pinky down orientation. Okay, so that's 4 so far. Number 1, hip penetration. Number 2, pull your heels to your butt. Number 3, squeeze your knees together so you feel your thigh muscles squeezing the arm. Number 4, get the joint oriented in the most vulnerable position, so pinky down to my chest. And then the last one, number 5, is I want to control the end of the lever. So the end is basically right where these wrist bones are, so I want to make sure I'm squeezing right at that point, and that should give me a good lock. If I'm down here, I don't have as good a leverage, right? I'm not manipulating to the leverage to the best potential. And so, somebody strong, like Mira, might be able to just bicep curl her way out of this. But bicep curl, I can't control it. Versus if I can control the end of the lever, now it's going to be unrealistic for her to bicep curl her way out of it. So I'll do one more, and then I'll finish with Mira doing maybe 1 or 2 more, trying to put all of those steps together here. So We have our seatbelt control. Okay? I know I want to fall this way, so I'm going to cheat my feet to this top hip. If I could get the choke, I would, but her hands are defending the choke. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and control her hand, make my figure 4 grip, and I'm going to let her fall down to the ground. Scoot in so my hips have good penetration, pull my heels to my butt, squeeze my knees together, orient her pinky down to my chest, and I can control the end of the lever all the way to the tap out. Right there. Okay. And we'll finish with Mira doing one on me, just so she gets a little payback to finish up. All right, so she's in. I'm trying to defend the choke. I don't want to get choked. She falls. Let's keep this one underneath again. There you go. Okay, so we fall down to this side. Okay, I'm still defending the choke. So she's going to make her figure 4 grip. Excellent. Okay. She's going to push me over. Good. So she's going to do our 5 things, right? Number 1, scoot her hips in. So she's got good hip penetration. Number 2, she's going to pull her heels to her butt. I can feel it, the big squeeze. Number 3, she's going to pinch her knees together tightly. Number 4, she's going to orient my pinky toward her chest. And I can feel I'm very close to a tap already. Number 5, she controls the end of the lever. And then she pulls it to her chest as she lifts her hips a little to the sky. And there's our tap out. There's our tap. So, cool. And then one other question I get a lot, especially with arm bars like this, is should you cross your ankles or should you not cross your ankles? And I don't think there's one universal right answer. My personal preference is that if I'm doing one where I'm on the top like this, my opponent's kind of flat on their back and I'm on the top, I like to cross my ankles for it. However, if I'm doing an armbar from the guard, I prefer not to. I try to keep my ankles uncrossed. So I'm going to have Mira go ahead and do one more time. We'll just change the angle a little bit so you can see that she'll cross her ankles for the finish here. So Mira will face this way. And I will start doing the back. And so she gets position, she falls to her left, and she gets the wrist control, puts it over the head, drops me onto my back. So it's right here that I'm talking about. So she's going to make sure she's scooted in nice and far, and then she can cross her ankles or not. I personally like to, right? Especially go ahead and unlock for a second. Unlock the leg. A lot of times this arm will still be in here, right? And if it still is in there, I really like to really control it. So she's going to cross her ankles and then do a hamstring curl pretty strong. Yeah, I'm really stuck now. So I like to do this if I'm on offense, right? And now she continues the move, pulls my pinky to her chest, hips into it a little bit, pull my pinky down. All right. So that's it. Now you know like 4 submissions. Rear naked choke, short choke, one-handed rear naked choke, and an armbar. So Mira's growing fast. So hope everybody liked the material for today. We are going to try to continue these jiu-jitsu fundamental classes for you a few times a week. The way that our schedule is laying out the best right now, it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, and hopefully one of the weekdays to try to get these to you. So tune on in. I think we've got our eye on Wednesday of this week for the next one. Mira's very excited, as you can tell. Maybe after a few more of these, she'll be the one teaching them. So, all right. Thank you for joining. Leave us any comments, feedback you have in the comment section below, and feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Jiu-Jitsu fundamentals videos as well as our virtual kettlebell classes. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.